Welcome to our lecture online. Now let's take a look at the effect that we're going to see in how the various greenhouse gases absorb energy radiated from the Earth because of the overlap. Remember, these are not individual gases only absorbing their band and not exclusive from all other gases. The different gases in the atmosphere overlap to one another. In other words, they absorb the same frequencies in many of the cases. So how does it affect the effectiveness of the absorption of energy from the Earth by these various gases? Well, the test that was done was where we test the amount of energy absorbed in the first 100 meters of atmosphere. So we know the Earth radiates energy in the infrared. If we go 100 meters up in the atmosphere, how much of that radiation will have been absorbed by the various gases? If we first take a look at each gas independently, assuming there's no other gas in the atmosphere, how much would they absorb? And so we're going to take the case where we had the initial carbon dioxide in the atmosphere before the Industrial Revolution, and then we're going to double that amount to see the effect of the increase in the carbon dioxide, because it is increasing, as everybody knows. So first, assuming there are no other gases, we can see that water vapor would absorb 68.2% of the radiation come from the Earth by the time you reach an altitude of 100 meters. Carbon dioxide would absorb 17%. Methane would absorb 1.2%, and nitrous oxide would absorb 0.5%. Again, that's if those gases existed only by themselves. As you can see, there's a lot of overlap between all the various radiation bands. So if there was complete separation, there was no overlap at all, the total amount of energy absorbed in the first 100 meters of atmosphere would be 86.9%. However, we know that's not the case. When we measure the amount of radiation absorbed by the time we reach 100 meters in altitude, it's only 72.9%. And the reason for that is because there's an overlap, meaning the gases in the atmosphere absorb some of the same frequencies, same wavelengths of radiation. So as a totality, when you put them all together, it's 72.9%. Of course, in the next 100 meters, it'll be again 72.9% of what's remaining and so forth. And you see that pretty soon, virtually all of the energy will be absorbed, that can be absorbed by the various greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So how would that change if we now double the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and now we have 570 parts per million? Again, water vapor would absorb the same amount, so would methane, and so would nitrous oxide. Of course, carbon dioxide would then absorb more, 18.5% instead of 17%. But again, if we then take all that into account, that there's overlap, not just individual gases in the atmosphere, you can see that the total would be 73.4%. It would only be a 0.5% increase instead of a 1.5% increase. Again, that's the way our atmosphere works. And so it's a good thing that there's an overlap there so that any one increase will not overwhelm the amount of energy that can be absorbed. So now if we take a look at that, if we assume that water vapor is always going to be there and absorbing 68.2% in the first 100 meters, we can then see that all the other gases in the atmosphere then account for either 4.7% absorption if we take carbon dioxide at 285 parts per million, or more realistically, if we get to 570 parts per million, all the other gases in the atmosphere would account for about 5.2%. So that means that the total amount of energy absorbed in the first 100 meters would be 73.4%. In other words, 5.2% of a total of 73.4% is about 7% of all the energy absorbed is absorbed by all the other greenhouse gases. That means that 93% of all the energy absorbed is absorbed by the water vapor in the atmosphere, which is a good thing because water vapor is something that will be always there. It'll keep us nice and warm, and then the additional absorption of the other gases is not extremely large. And so even with increases, it looks like we can stay within a fairly good limit as to how much energy is being absorbed. So we can see that the amount of increase in the energy absorbed by all the other gases is only about 7%, even at a carbon dioxide level of 570 parts per million. And so we can see that water vapor still is the predominant greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, which is what keeps us nice and comfortably warm Without it, again, we wouldn't be able to live on the Earth. And that's how it is.